Maybe you should have done it from this side.
I don't know if I can get up that side, can I?
Probably. It's okay. You want me to meet you on this side?
Stay there. It's okay. Relax. Relax. It's okay. Relax. It's okay. It's okay. Don't move. Scared
Is she trapped in there now?
Nah, she'll get out. Take it in, take it out. I'm glad it was only one cut. She had that thing way tangled up. Hey, what's happening, everybody? So just a fast update. You can see that I took the tool off of the hoops. The tomatoes were just getting a little bit too big, and we needed to let them kind of do their thing. So in an effort to deter the deer, I just put in some T-posts, ran some string around, and then I only had some green marking tape, so I just hung a few pieces on there to flap in the wind. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep the deer out. The bunnies haven't been bad. They were stuck inside the tool every once in a while, and they didn't seem like they were nibbling on anything, so I don't mind if they run around the bottom. But I'll show you real fast. Now that we took the tool off, We had originally slid a 2-foot section of EMT pipe, 1/2-inch EMT pipe down as our tomato stake starts. And what I do is normally I plant the tomato and then I slide the stake in. That way I can put the tool over, not have to worry about the tomato getting too big and then having to force a stake down near the plant once the root system gets nice. So what I'm gonna do now is add a 4-foot section to the pipe that's already in there, and that'll give me the tomato stake to start tying the tomatoes off to. So I'm gonna grab the sections and then I'll just bring you in real fast and show you what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I've got some sticks of pipe that we're gonna use to extend the tomato stakes. And I meant to mention before that normally when I go through and trim up the plants, cut off all the sucker shoots, we would normally propagate these, a little bit of water, let them root, pop them in the ground and grow more tomato plants, and that way maybe the tomatoes will last longer through the year. But we don't have any other places to put tomatoes right now, so it's just a chop and drop this year. But I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer once I get one of the pipes on, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in regards to that, what we do for the tomato stakes. All right, so I'm trying to get a half decent position so that you can see me and the tomato stake. So like I said before, we buy a 10-foot piece of 1/2-inch EMT. You can find it in the electrical department at any big box store. Basically, we cut a 10-foot piece down into a 2-foot piece and then 2 4-foot pieces. The 2-foot piece is right here, and it has a coupling right on the top of the piece. And then I install this when we plant the tomato. That way it's low enough that I can put the row cover over there without having a big tomato stake sticking up. Also, I like to put it in when we first plant the tomatoes so that I don't have to do it like 4 or 5 weeks later when the root system gets established. I don't want to stuff that pipe down through the roots. So I put this 2-foot section in when I plant the tomatoes with the coupling on it. And then once the tomatoes get to a certain size, I add a 4-foot section of pipe. I just slide it right inside and then tighten down the coupling. And now you have a nice, strong, basically 5-6 foot section of tomato stake. And I like these. I've been using the same poles for probably 5 years, at least. They last really long. They don't rust enough to affect your vegetables or your plants. And if you go back to One Yard Revolution's channel, I think it's Patrick Dolan, he did a video where he did some testing on cattle panels, using them as trellises, when they rust, what does it add to the soil? Does it take away? Does it harm anything? And it really doesn't. Plus, these barely rust. As long as you take care of them, they'll last for a while. Sometimes when you beat them with a hammer, you bell end the tops of them like I did when I put the rebar in the ground. But you can always just cut that section off with a Sawzall, and then you'll have a piece ready to go back into your coupling again. But this is a really easy tomato stake. I don't know how much they would cost now, but believe it or not, they were almost as cost effective as buying an actual tomato stake that I swear would only last a year or two. So like I said, why I use these is because I can put this 2-foot section in the ground when I plant the tomato and still be able to cover this with tool for, a month or so. If I were to put a 5-foot tomato stake in when I first planted the tomatoes, I wouldn't be able to put anything over top the hoop house. So just a quick tip, and hopefully it helps you if you want to do something different than your normal tomato cages. But I'll basically just now go back and, tie up the tomatoes as they grow and, make them look pretty, and then we'll just tie them right up the pole as they go up and cut suckers off and get the joy of all the tomatoes. So just a quick tip. Yo, what's happening, everybody? So it's the same day still that we moved all of our furniture and stuff into the house, or I should say moved the rest of it in the house this morning. And we had a little bit of daylight left, so we're actually gonna get started on cleaning up the side of the house. We're gonna set up another one of the canopies so that we can kind of create a space for us to work outside. So I'm gonna set the camera up and Dayna and I are gonna get started and we'll see how it turns out, so stick around. What do you guys think? Nice little outside work area. Now that we're not going to be working inside anymore, we obviously needed to create something. So this Easy Up that we had, the little Ozark Trail Easy Up, that was the one that was up during the wintertime covering everything in front of the Shabin, and the one side of like the fulcrum got all bent up. So we were hoping that we could fix it, and instead we basically just tie wrapped each leg to the other Easy Up that's both like basically weighted to the ground, so it's really sturdy. And then just threw some tables out and got our old trusty Advantech workshop table out here, and I'm thinking we're in good shape. The other cool thing is I don't have to cover the brush mower anymore. You know, we basically can just run it up here, stick it underneath the canopies for now, and we got our boy Joe's picnic table that he hooked us up with. Now we got a nice place to come up and eat out of the sun, but this will be nice. Plus, we were able to clear to the side of the house because we're going to start working on basically a boulder retaining little area there that we can backfill with maybe some, I don't know, like red tibble or something like that. And it'll basically line where the driveway is going to go up. That way those boulders will be what the modified sits against, just like we've done with the hay in the front and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, we're pretty stoked. Just another
day at the Shabin.
Just another day at the Shabin. Dana says, let's just chill today. And I said, that's awesome. We did not chill. But that's all right. We got cleaned up, and it's always nice to kind of move everything around a little bit, kind of reassess. And yeah, I don't know. We're both tired, but
I've been tired.
Dana's been tired. That's all right. We're going to call it a day, I think, and go hang out. And Stranger Things just came out, so we're going to watch some Stranger Things. Actually, Stranger Things probably been out for like a couple weeks,
yeah,
but
we're a little late to the game.
Yeah, a little late, but we're going to go and I think binge watch some Stranger Things. So we will catch you guys on the next video. So peace.